They call Europe the land of art, architecture, and ancient empires. But they forget that the greatest masterpieces here weren't built by kings or carved by hands. They were sculpted by glaciers, painted by oceans, and perfected by time itself. Forget the tallest towers and grandest palaces. Europe's most magnificent, most timeless, and most awe-inspiring wonders are the ones nature created. Across this continent lies a collection of Earth's most extraordinary natural treasures. From Iceland's most dramatic volcanic plains to Norway's deepest fjords, and from Slovenia's oldest underground caves to Italy's most radiant coastal cliffs. These aren't just landscapes. They're living chronicles of the planet's greatest transformations. Every valley, glacier, and canyon whispers the story of Earth at its purest and most powerful. Here, nature didn't just decorate the land, it defined it. These are not places you visit. They're experiences that transform you. Each one a reminder that the world's greatest beauty still lives in its wildest corners. So before you chase the next city skyline, chase the sunrise over the highest peaks, the silence of the deepest lakes, and the wonder of the purest landscapes Europe has ever known. Because sometimes, the most unforgettable journey isn't about what humanity created, but about what the Earth, in all its brilliance, left behind. In this once-in-a-lifetime journey, we'll count down 30 of the most awe-inspiring, breathtaking, and irreplaceable UNESCO natural heritage sites in Europe. Places that stand as the most powerful testaments to Europe's greatest beauty, deepest mystery, and utmost fragility. Number 30. Lake Ohrid region, Albania. Ever wondered what the world's oldest lake looks like? Beneath these calm waters lies over 3 million years of history, older than most mountain ranges. Lake Ohrid sits between Albania and North Macedonia, a deep blue mirror surrounded by steep limestone hills. The air feels cool, the silence broken only by rippling waves and church bells from ancient lakeside towns. Home to over 200 endemic species, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is often called a museum of living fossils. Its clear depths reveal secrets of evolution, a place where time moves slowly and every ripple tells a story. Standing here, it's hard not to feel small, part of something ancient yet alive. But just beyond these shores, the landscape shifts again to rugged peaks and glacial lakes waiting in the distance. Number 29. Piran National Park, Bulgaria. Carved by ancient glaciers and time itself, this alpine world hides over 70 crystal lakes, each reflecting a fragment of Bulgaria's wild heart. Piran National Park stretches across rugged granite peaks, echoing with the sound of rushing streams and wind brushing through pine forests. The air here is thin, clear, and filled with the scent of mountain herbs. This UNESCO World Heritage Site preserves some of Europe's oldest conifer forests, including the legendary Bykashev's pine, a tree that stood for more than 1,300 years, a living witness to Bulgaria's natural history. It's a place that humbles you, where silence speaks louder than words and nature feels timeless. And as the trails descend toward a valley of waterfalls and emerald waters, another breathtaking wonder awaits, just beyond the horizon. Number 28. Plitvice Lakes National Park, Croatia. Dotted with 16 lakes and 90 waterfalls, Plitvice Lakes displays endless flow of turquoise water, constantly reshaping itself through time. Where mineral-rich waters cascade through forested valleys, the air hums with falling water and the rustle of beech trees swaying above wooden footbridges. A UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1979, these lakes formed through a rare natural process called tufa formation, where dissolved limestone builds barriers that slowly create new waterfalls. It's nature, engineering itself. Plitvice reminds us how water shapes the world, quietly, persistently, and beautifully. Standing here, you feel part of that rhythm. And beyond these misty cascades, another landscape awaits. Vast, tidal, and alive with migrating life. One that moves with the sea itself. Number 27. The Wadden Sea, Denmark. Twice a day, the sea disappears. What's left behind isn't emptiness, it's life. Stretching along the coasts of the Netherlands, Germany, and Denmark, the Wadden Sea transforms with every tide. Sandbanks rise from shallow waters, seabirds gather by the thousands, and seals rest on glistening mudflats. The sound is soft, wind, wings, and distant waves. A UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2009, it's the world's largest unbroken intertidal ecosystem. Its shifting sands and salt marshes support over 10 million migratory birds each year, a living crossroads for global wildlife. To walk here is to see Earth breathing, a landscape shaped not by time, but by rhythm. And as the tide rolls back in, the journey continues toward a rugged coastline where ancient granite rises from the northern sea. Number 26. High Coast, Finland. What if the land beneath your feet was still rising, centimeter by centimeter, every year? Along the Gulf of Bothnia, the high coast of Sweden and Finland's Kvarken archipelago reveal a rare geological phenomenon, post-glacial rebound. The Earth here is still recovering from the weight of ancient ice sheets, slowly lifting from the sea. Designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2000, this region shows how continents heal. You'll see forested cliffs, labyrinths of islands, and smooth rocks that once lay deep underwater. It's a living timeline, visible change, unfolding in real time. Standing here, you feel the pulse of a planet still in motion, reshaping itself quietly and endlessly. And as the tide of land gives way to towering peaks, our next journey leads deep into the heart of the Alps. Number 25. Écrins National Park, France. Here, glaciers still move slow, silent rivers of ice carving through ancient stone. Nestled deep in the French Alps, Écrins National Park is a world of contrasts. Jagged peaks pierce the clouds while alpine meadows burst with color below. The only sounds are wind, distant waterfalls, and the call of marmots echoing through the valleys. Recognized by UNESCO for its exceptional geology and biodiversity, this protected region holds over 100 summits above 3,000 meters. It's one of Europe's most pristine alpine environments, a refuge for ibex, eagles, and countless wildflowers that survive in thin air. Standing here, surrounded by the raw power of the Alps, you can feel how small and temporary we truly are. And just beyond these frozen ridges lies another mountain realm shaped by glaciers, cliffs, and legends shared across two nations. Number 24. Montperdou, Spain. At the border of France and Spain lies a hidden world carved by ice and shaped by time. The Pyrenees Montperdou region is a striking mix of jagged limestone peaks and green valleys that echo with rushing rivers. On one side, deep canyons plunge through Spain's Ordesa Valley. On the other, vast cirques rise high above French meadows. The soundscape is pure wilderness, wind, waterfalls, and distant bells of grazing herds. A UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1997, this landscape tells the story of Europe's geological evolution. It's also a cultural crossroads. Shepherds and pilgrims have passed these trails for centuries, linking nature and history in every step. Here, you feel the rhythm of both earth and heritage, timeless, intertwined, and alive. And after these towering ridges, the mountains take a new form, a natural wonder sculpted in stone and touched by mist. Number 23. Elba Sandstone Mountains, Germany. These towers of stone look sculpted by hand, but every curve was shaped by the unlimited forces of nature. Stretching along the Elbe River between Germany and the Czech Republic, this maze of cliffs, arches, and valleys forms one of Europe's most dramatic natural landscapes. Mist drifts through pine forests, and echoes bounce between sandstone walls rising hundreds of meters high. Part of a UNESCO World Heritage region, These formations were created over 100 million years ago from ancient sea sediments. Today, the area supports rare plant species and peregrine falcons nesting in hidden crevices. Standing on a cliff edge here, you feel suspended between earth and sky, where silence holds the weight of natural evolution. And beyond these silent stones lies another kind of wilderness, one ruled by ancient trees that have stood for centuries. Number 22. Primeval beech forests of Europe. Imagine walking through a forest that hasn't changed since the last ice age. Spanning 18 European countries, these ancient beech forests form one of the continent's most widespread natural wonders. Sunlight filters through dense green canopies, moss blankets fallen trunks, and the forest floor breathes with life fungi, insects, and songbirds in perfect balance. Recognized by UNESCO for its ecological value, this living network reveals how a single tree species, the European beech, adapted and spread after the glaciers retreated. It's a rare glimpse into Europe's untouched wilderness, where natural evolution still unfolds freely. To stand here is to feel time stretch, a quiet reminder of resilience, rooted deep in the earth. And beyond these timeless woods, stone spires rise from clouds, where nature and faith meet high above the valley. Number 21. Meteora, Greece. High above the plains of Thessaly, monasteries cling to massive stone pillars, as if suspended between earth and sky. Meteora's landscape feels almost unreal. Towering cliffs rise 400 meters from the valley floor, their surfaces weathered smooth by millions of years of wind. From the top, the view stretches endlessly, villages below, mountains fading into haze. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, Meteora is both a geological wonder and a cultural sanctuary. Formed nearly 60 million years ago, these rocks later became home to monks seeking isolation and spiritual peace. It's a place where silence holds meaning, where human devotion meets the raw strength of nature. As we leave these ancient stones lies a hidden wilderness of rivers and gorges, where Greece's wild heart still flows undisturbed. Number 20. Ayios National Park, Greece. At first glance, it looks like a hidden scar in the earth, a gorge so deep it rivals the Grand Canyon. This is northern Greece's untamed wilderness. Steep cliffs, alpine rivers, and ancient forests stretching across the Pindus Mountains. The air is crisp, filled with echoes of rushing water and distant bells from grazing goats. Protected as a UNESCO Global Geopark, this landscape tells a story written over millions of years. The Vikos Gorge was carved by ice and water, revealing layers of limestone older than humanity itself. Rare species thrive here: golden eagles, brown bears, and orchids that bloom in silence. It's a place where nature feels both vast and personal. And just beyond these peaks lies a realm of stone and mystery, where the earth itself seems to breathe. Number 19. Caves of Agdalek and Slovak Karst, Hungary. Beneath Central Europe's rolling hills lies a hidden world, vast chambers carved entirely by Mother Nature. Inside, stalactites hang like frozen rain. The air is cool and still, carrying the quiet drip of mineral-rich water. Light flickers across stone formations shaped over millions of years, each curve a record of nature's patience. This UNESCO World Heritage Site protects more than 1,000 caves, stretching across 2 countries. Among them, the Baradla Domica system runs for over 25 kilometers, one of Europe's most extraordinary underground networks. Scientists explore it to study ancient climate shifts, while visitors walk through halls where geology feels alive. It's a reminder of the unseen world that sustains our planet's balance. And when you emerge from darkness into the open air, another landscape of raw, elemental beauty awaits. Number 18. Thingvellir National Park, Iceland. Here, 2 continents drift apart slowly and silently, tearing the earth open before your eyes. The ground splits into deep fissures filled with crystal-clear glacial water. Beneath the surface, divers glide between the Eurasian and North American tectonic plates, a rare chance to touch the edge of continents. This UNESCO World Heritage Site lies atop a rift valley formed by relentless geological forces. Volcanic cliffs, black lava fields, and serene lakes tell the story of Iceland's restless creation. It's also a cradle of human history, the site of the world's first known parliament, held over 1,000 years ago. Nature and heritage coexist here in raw harmony. But follow the glacial rivers north, and you'll find a vast white expanse of frozen realm shaped by fire and ice. Number 17. Vatnajökull National Park, Iceland. Imagine a landscape where volcanoes sleep beneath glaciers and rivers of ice carve the earth in silence. Here, vast white plains stretch as far as the eye can see. Blue ice caves shimmer under the frozen surface, while black volcanic sands frame waterfalls that roar with melted water from Europe's largest glacier. This UNESCO World Heritage Site covers about 14% of Iceland, a living record of fire and ice. Beneath the ice cap, volcanoes still breathe, shaping valleys and peaks with every eruption. Scientists study this place to understand how climate and geology intertwine. Visitors feel its power through crackling ice, shifting light, and deep, echoing silence. And beyond these frozen giants lie towering Limestone Peak, waiting in the heart of the south. Number 16. The Dolomites, Italy. At sunrise, these pale peaks glow like embers mountains that once lay beneath the sea. Sheer cliffs rise over green alpine meadows. Trails wind through jagged spires and quiet valleys where cowbells echo and mist drifts across limestone towers. This UNESCO World Heritage Site was formed over 200 million years ago, when ancient coral reefs were pushed skyward by shifting tectonic plates. Today, its unique geology helps scientists trace the story of Earth's evolution. Visitors come for hiking, skiing, and that sense of timeless space, where every ridge feels untouched and every summit offers silence. But far to the south, the calm gives way to islands born from the sea, still alive with volcanic breath. Number 15. The Aeolian Islands, Italy. Imagine a chain of islands where the earth still breathes literally. Here, the sea meets fire. Steam rises from crater edges, and black sands shimmer under the sun. Waves crash against cliffs shaped by eruptions thousands of years apart. These volcanic islands, recognized by UNESCO, are a living textbook of geology. Stromboli, one of the world's most active volcanoes, has been erupting for over 2,000 years, earning it the nickname Lighthouse of the Mediterranean. Hiking here feels otherworldly. The air smells faintly of sulfur, the ground still warm beneath your feet. Yet, it's the calm beauty between the eruptions that stays with visitors, a reminder of nature's rhythm between destruction and renewal. Next, we travel inland to a mountain that hides ancient secrets deep within its stone. Number 14. Monte San Giorgio, Switzerland. Hidden between Switzerland and Italy lies a mountain that tells a story 240 million years old. Beneath its forested slopes rest some of the world's most complete marine fossils, once part of a tropical sea, long before the Alps ever rose. Today, Monte San Giorgio stands as a living museum of evolution. Visitors hike quiet trails through beech forests. Unaware, they're walking above ancient seabeds that reveal how life adapted after Earth's great extinction. The air here feels still, like time itself slowed down to preserve its secrets. It's a place that reminds us how much of nature's past still shapes our present, if we know where to look. And just when you think the story of Earth's power can't get more dramatic, the ground ahead begins to tremble, and smoke rises from a fiery peak. Our next stop awaits. Number 13. Mount Etna, Sicily. At night, it glows, not from city lights, but from the earth itself. Lava streams carve through dark rock as smoke drifts into the Sicilian sky. This is Europe's tallest and most active volcano, erupting almost constantly for thousands of years. Visitors can hike across blackened slopes, feeling the crunch of cooled lava beneath their boots and the dry heat rising from hidden vents. From its summit, the Mediterranean stretches endlessly below peacefully, while the mountain breathes fire above. Etna's frequent eruptions have shaped both the landscape and the lives around it, enriching the soil that feeds local vineyards and villages. It's a reminder that creation and destruction often share the same heartbeat. But where this mountain burns, another one sleeps. An extraordinary mountain, older, quieter, yet holding a story just as explosive. Our next journey takes us there. Number 12. Vesuvius National Park, Naples. It's one of the few volcanoes you can climb and still see smoke rising from its crater. Standing on its rim, you look down into the hollow that once changed history. Below, the city of Naples stretches toward the sea, alive and unaware of the quiet power above. The slopes are coated in volcanic rock and wildflowers, a mix of destruction and renewal. Scientists say the fertile soil here supports hundreds of plant species. Nearly 2,000 years ago, this mountain buried entire cities in a single day. Today, it reminds visitors how fragile civilization can be beside nature's force. And while this peak sleeps for now, another landscape waits, one shaped not by fire, but by wind and sand, stretching endlessly along a northern shore. Our next journey takes us there. Number 11. Curonian Spit, Lithuania. A desert by the sea, that's the first thing that surprises most visitors. Towering sand dunes rise above the Baltic coast, shaped endlessly by wind and waves. Between them, pine forests whisper, and small fishing villages sit quietly on the edge of two worlds. This narrow strip stretches nearly 100 kilometers, dividing a calm lagoon from the open sea. Once threatened by shifting sands, it was saved through human effort, forests planted to hold the dunes in place. Today, it's a living example of how nature and people can coexist in balance. Seabirds circle overhead, the air filled with salt and resin. Standing here feels both remote and peaceful, like the world has paused for a moment. But ahead, the calm gives way to rugged peaks, glacial lakes, and the wild silence of high mountains. Our next journey takes us there. Number 10. Durmitor National Park, Montenegro. Carved by ice, shaped by rivers, this mountain range feels untouched by time. Deep within Montenegro, cliffs tower over green valleys, and glacial lakes rest like mirrors among the pines. The sound of rushing water echoes from one of Europe's deepest canyons, carved by the Tara River over millennia. Formed during the Ice Age, this landscape is a masterpiece of erosion and elevation. Its limestone peaks and alpine meadows host bears, wolves, and over 100 bird species. In winter, it's blanketed in snow. In summer, alive with color and light. Standing on a ridge here, you sense the scale of nature's patience. How long it takes to create something this wild, this complete. But as the mountains fade into mist, the view ahead shifts, steep cliffs, waterfalls, and a hidden fjord glimmering in northern light. Number 9. West Norwegian Fjords, Norway. Imagine mountains rising straight from the sea, cliffs so steep they catch the clouds. Waterfalls drop hundreds of meters into still, blue fjords where small boats drift silently below. The air is cool, the light crisp, and every sound echoes for miles. These fjords were carved by glaciers during the last ice age, leaving behind deep valleys now filled with seawater. Beneath the surface, marine life thrives in cold, clear depths, while high above, snowfields feed streams that never stop flowing. It's one of the few places where you can see Earth's geological history so vividly, a record of time written in stone and water. Standing here, you feel small, but deeply connected to the planet's power and calm. And beyond these waters lies a very different wilderness, untouched forests and rugged peaks at the edge of Europe. Number 8. West Caucasus, Russia. Few places in Europe remain truly wild. This is one of them. Dense forests blanket steep slopes, rivers cut through deep valleys, and snow-capped peaks rise untouched by roads or villages. The silence here feels ancient. This mountain region shelters one of the last temperate forests in the world still undisturbed by humans. Its isolation has preserved rare species, brown bears, lynxes, and even the elusive Caucasian leopard. The terrain shifts quickly. Alpine meadows above, thick beech and fir forests below. Geologists trace these mountains back millions of years, part of the collision that formed the Alps and Himalayas. Every rock and ridge tells a story of Earth's restless movement. Standing here, surrounded by nature in its rawest form, you sense what Europe once looked like before cities and borders. But ahead, the wilderness moves underground, into vast chambers shaped by water and time. Our next journey takes us there. Number 7. Skocjan Caves, Slovenia. Deep beneath Slovenia's Karst Plateau lies one of Europe's largest underground canyons. It's hard to believe, but the Reka River actually vanishes into this massive cave system, carving tunnels that stretch for over 6 kilometers. As you walk the narrow bridges suspended above roaring waters, it feels less like a cave and more like stepping into the Earth's lungs. Designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1986, Skocjan Caves are a masterpiece of water and time. The chambers formed over millions of years, revealing layers of limestone sculpted by relentless underground rivers. Bats thrive here, and so do rare subterranean species found nowhere else on Earth. It's a reminder of nature's quiet power, hidden, patient, and immense. But our next wonder rises back into the sunlight, where rivers meet the sea. Number 6. Doñana National Park, Spain. Every year, over 6 million migratory birds pause here, on their way between Europe and Africa. It's one of the few places where desert dunes, pine forests, and marshes meet in one vast landscape. Visitors move through an ever-changing mosaic, wetlands glowing gold at dawn, shifting dunes that whisper inland, and lagoons alive with flamingos, herons, and Iberian lynx tracks. Recognized by UNESCO in 1994, Doñana National Park protects one of Europe's most important wetlands. Its fragile balance depends on seasonal floods from the Guadalquivir River, a rhythm that sustains thousands of species. Here, time feels slow. Every ripple, every wing beat reminds you how migration connects continents, and how easily that link can be lost. Next, we travel where ancient trees hold their own quiet secrets. Number 5. Garaganay National Park, Spain. Imagine walking through a forest older than the Ice Age. Here, on a small Atlantic island, clouds don't just float, they feed the forest itself. Visitors move through narrow trails surrounded by laurel trees, their branches heavy with mist. The air feels still, but alive. Garaganay National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1986, preserves Europe's last major laurel forest, once common across the Mediterranean millions of years ago. Constant moisture from ocean trade winds keeps this prehistoric ecosystem thriving. It's a living relic, a glimpse of a Europe long vanished. And in its quiet fog, you can sense the endurance of nature, patient, resilient, and eternal. Next, we climb from cloud forest to volcanic heights, where the ground itself breathes. Number 4. Teide National Park, Canary Islands. At over 3,700 meters, this is Spain's highest peak, yet it sits closer to Africa than Europe. Mount Teide dominates Tenerife, It slopes rising from desert plains into a summit that pierces the clouds. Visitors cross landscapes that look almost extraterrestrial. Lava flows frozen in motion, red rock towers, and silent craters stretching for miles. A UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2007, Tide National Park is one of the world's best examples of volcanic activity. Its caldera formed millions of years ago through massive eruptions that shaped the island itself. Above the clouds, life still adapts. Endemic plants bloom in volcanic ash, and the night sky reveals constellations seen nowhere clearer in Europe. Standing here feels like standing on another planet, vast, silent, and alive. Next, we travel north to where ice, not fire, defines the landscape. Number 3. Laponian Area, Sweden. In the far north of Sweden, where daylight can last all summer, lies one of Europe's last true wildernesses. Here, mountains meet tundra, and glaciers carve through valleys untouched by roads or towns. Reindeer move freely across ancient migration paths, guided by the Sami people who have lived here for thousands of years. The Laponian area covers more than 9,000 square kilometers, a landscape so vast it feels almost prehistoric. It's one of the largest areas in the world still shaped mainly by nature, not human hands. Scientists study it to understand how ecosystems thrive in extreme cold, while visitors come to witness silence that feels endless, broken only by wind, water, and the sound of hooves on snow. And just beyond these icy peaks lies another natural wonder, one where stone columns rise from the shores of the United Kingdom. Number 2. Berchtesgaden National Park, Germany. Deep in the Bavarian Alps lies a valley that looks almost untouched by time. Towering limestone peaks rise above emerald forests, and the surface of Lake Königssee reflects them like glass. It's Germany's only alpine national park, 210 square kilometers of protected wilderness, where nature still decides the rules. The park is home to golden eagles, chamois, and rare alpine flowers that bloom only for a few short weeks each year. Formed by glaciers over millions of years, this landscape is a living record of the Ice Age. Its sheer cliffs and deep valleys reveal how water, ice, and stone shaped Europe's natural architecture. Standing here, surrounded by silence and scale, it's hard not to feel small and deeply connected to the planet's past. But beyond these mountains, another natural wonder rises, built not by glaciers, but by ancient fire and stone. And finally, the Giant's Causeway, Northern Ireland. At first glance, it looks man-made. Thousands of perfect stone columns stepping into the sea. But this isn't architecture. It's geology at its most precise. The Giant's Causeway, on Northern Ireland's rugged coast, was formed 60 million years ago when volcanic lava cooled and cracked into over 40,000 basalt pillars. Each one fits together like a puzzle, rising and falling with the rhythm of the Atlantic waves. UNESCO recognized it in 1986 for both its unique formation and the legends it inspired. Local folklore tells of giants who built these stones to cross the sea, a story as enduring as the rocks themselves. Standing here, the sound of the ocean and the symmetry of the stones create a strange calm, a meeting point between science and myth.